Okay, we're good to
go. Okay, so welcome, Dr. Parr. As we inform all of our candidates, you will have up to 3 minutes for an opening statement, followed by up to 7 minutes for questions from members. And the time will begin when you begin speaking.
Well, good evening. Can you all hear me first and foremost?
Yes.
Great. Good evening, and thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself and share a little about my background and my work in public education. My name is Dr. Nikki Parr. I grew up in Solano County, and my husband and I are raising our 3 sons here. This community is home, and I understand how safe, supportive schools shape not only students, but entire communities. I have spent 27 years in public education, including 12 years at the Solano County Office of Education. During that time, I served as program coordinator for homeless and foster youth services, and later as senior director of student services and educational options. In September 2025, I was appointed County Superintendent of Schools, and I am now running to continue this work. Throughout my career, I have focused on building systems that respond to students' real needs and remove barriers to learning. The values that guide my work, equity, access, opportunity, and care for the whole child, are aligned with democratic principles. I have led countywide initiatives to make schools safer, more inclusive, and more supportive, including helping spearhead the opening of 50 school-based wellness centers that support students' emotional regulation, stress reduction, and overall well-being so they're better prepared to learn and thrive. In 2021, I launched the Solano County School-Based Mobile Crisis Response Program, which provides immediate mental health support to students experiencing crisis directly at school sites. I have written and managed nearly $30 million in grants to expand school-based mental health services in Solano County, increase access to clinicians, address community trauma, and support schools after critical incidents. As county superintendent, I continue to focus on expanding career technical education, strengthening mental health supports, improving school safety, and prioritizing the well-being of teachers and staff through strong collaboration with districts, families, and community partners. I am proud of the work that I've done in Solano County, and I remain deeply committed to our students, educators, and schools. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening, and I appreciate your time and your consideration.
Perfect timing. All right. Already getting some questions in, which is good. So first question, what courses would you like to see adopted by local school districts that would prepare our students for the 21st century?
Hmm. You know, I was just in a meeting when we were talking about how we're going to prepare young people in our community for the future, that we don't know what it looks like. We don't know what skills they're going to necessarily need. We have a lot of programs in CTE, college and career readiness, that I believe that students need to know about, and opportunities that families and students are not aware of, and increase the participation in those programs. And then ask the young people what it is that they want. I think a lot of times as educators, people have been in the business for a long time. We think we know, and we don't. I have 3 teenage sons. They remind me that the thinking that I was raised up in doesn't pertain to them right now. They're not necessarily looking for the things that I was looking for at their age. So, what I would say is expanding what we currently have, but through encouraging individuals, a diverse group of individuals, to participate in the programs that we already have.
All right, I'm going to skip because I know this question needs to be answered. What is your position on charter schools?
My position on charter schools. Well, it makes it very difficult being in this seat because I am responsible for all students in the county. And whether the family chooses to go to a traditional campus, traditional school district, or a charter school, I am responsible for supporting them and supporting the school. And so for our existing charter schools, I have monthly meetings with all of the leaders to talk with them about what their needs are, still trying to get an assessment of what we're offering and what their needs are to make sure that there's a match. But then I also do the same thing for the superintendents of the school districts. I meet with them each month. Actually, I'll have a meeting tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock where I will be hearing from the districts about things that are specific to their student population and what their needs are. So I care about all students in public education in Solano County and want to support their schools.
Okay. This is a multi-part question. We'll break it up into a couple pieces. Do you have any input on the California state standards? Would there be, and related to that, would there be any standards you would change?
Hmm. I would not change any standards. And we, as individuals within school districts or county offices, don't have say on the standards. Those are developed and approved by the state. What I would say is we have to look at different ways that we are reaching young people because in many instances we are not. We have to look at the data that is showing us were your students engaged? Did they learn anything? Did they apply this to or see how they can apply this work to the real world? And so what I want to do is to strengthen, to support the standards that currently exist. I don't know of any one particular standard that I would want to edit.
The second half of these questions, is civics mandatory in high school? And if not, would you support that?
Civics is a part of the curriculum for all districts, usually in the 11th or 12th grade, and it's combined with other U.S. history courses, and it depends on the district. I would say yes, students need to have civics. It needs to be throughout their educational career, not just when they're at a certain age. And I would encourage us to not necessarily adopt another standard or purchase additional books, but there is partnership that we can bring to the students and awareness and starting that when they're young.
How has your experience as a Fairfield Suisun school board member informed your current position with your county board of education members?
Mm. That one was huge for me. Absolutely loved my experience being a trustee on a board member. I mean, as a board member. I had presented to boards as a director, but I had never been on a board. And what I learned is the relationship between the superintendent and the board is critically important. And what I learned was as superintendent, you have to go out and seek out opportunities to connect with your trustees. And so what I've done, since I have come to this position, is that I have monthly meetings with each individual trustee, provide them opportunities to front load them with information that they would find relevant to answer their questions so that we are working in tandem with one another and building those relationships. We have attended events together, and one of the trustees had mentioned that that was not something that had been done before and that she appreciates it. We're also the only county office of education board in California that is all women. Women as the superintendent, as women and women on the board. So that provides another opportunity for us to get together as women to talk about what our needs are in the local community and how we're going to work together. So we're spending a lot of time together, getting to know one another because I knew them because I'd presented to them for 12 years. but I didn't know them as people.
Okay. Uh, Next question. Uh, Swedes have taken a number of initiatives that may be considered radical, including gender separation and eliminating the use of tablets and other electronic tools. Would you consider similar radical initiatives?
Hmm. I would not. It's really difficult now to try to pull a tablet out of a young person's hand. And it's extremely difficult to attempt to teach when we're not using the technology that these young people are going to be exposed to. I think the focus and balance is making sure that they understand the amount of time that they should be spending with those devices, that we tailor and are specific about what they should be doing with those devices.
Okay. And
Am I out of
unfortunately,
time?
Sloan says the time's up. There are, as you might see, there's another question in chat. If you have a chance to answer it in chat, I'm sure our members would appreciate that. But thank you for joining us. And um, I would wish you good luck, but seeing as how you're unopposed, that's probably superfluous. But again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Launching the ballot out, emailing people momentarily, and remind everyone voting will go until 8:30. So please look at that email and vote. And I will read off the code in a few moments. So let me remove the spotlight here. Okay. All right. And moving on. And next item on our agenda is public comment. This is for guests to the meeting. Guests have up to 2 minutes to speak. Additional time may not be granted. Comment period may not exceed 30 minutes. Looking, I do not see, actually, I
I
do
don't
not
think we
see,
have any guests, Tom.
yes, yeah. It's all members and alternates. So go ahead and close our public comment and move on to our treasurer's report. So as soon as that's pulled up, hand it over to our treasurer to report.
Great. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to give you the treasurer's report for March. And just as an FYI, there was an adjustment made in our federal balance due to the strike data, which is the rally up data. So the February report was adjusted for that. So we begin our beginning balance at $9,490.06. Our credits dues contribution was $250, and we received the allocation transfer from our state account with total credits of $538.84. Our expenses were River City Business Services at $806.81. Our ActBlue merchant bank fees were $2.77. Our information officers Zoom fees were $319.80. And our crab feed expenses were $645.91. I included a insert to break down that amount, which was the deposit on the Nelson Center for next year for 2027 for our crab feed, and also included the fees that we had for the printed posters for the crab feed, name tags, binders, and display inserts, which totaled that $645.91. Our storage fee was $143.64, and we had $10.48 in postage, for a total of $1,929.41, with a total federal ending balance of $8,099.49. Looking at our state account, a beginning balance of $8,970 with contribution from the crab feed of $27.50 and $2,750. And we had a contribution of $45 as well as recurring dues of $5 for total credits of $2,800. Then looking at our expenses, we had ActBlue merchant fees of $1.99. We had the allocation transfer that we submitted into our federal account of $288.84, with our total expenses being $290.83, with an ending state balance of $11,480.11 added to our federal ending balance of $8,099.49. We have a total for both accounts of $19,579.60. So, do we have any questions regarding that?
Paula, I see your hand up.
I do. I'm wondering, do we have a number of a net profit from the crab feed?
We do, and I can actually, we still have a couple of outstanding accounts. Actually, we have outstanding account due, and so as soon as I complete all of that, because again, like I said, we still have some money trickling in, I can give a net balance on all of that, or a total final balance on it.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, our dues are due April 1. So I think Kathy sent out the notice on the state link and the federal link. So that's available for you now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Other reports? Chair's report. I think the big thing, oh, sorry, Lynette, I see your hands up.
Thank you. Did the ballot go out yet for the endorsement or just the code?
I am pushing the button now. That's actually what I was
Okay.
working on typing while.
Got it. All right. I was like, okay, I'm on my phone trying to do this. So thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
So, all right. So I just pushed the button, so it should be hitting inboxes momentarily. Getting back chair's report, I think the big thing I can report is, as I'm sure many of you are aware, the filing period for the governor's race ended March 6th. March 5th, Rusty sent out a letter encouraging low polling Democrats to drop out. A grand total of one took him up on that. And that was Ian Calderon, who had about 50 grand in the bank and had, the only way he was going to get anywhere is if there was a mass casualty event with our other candidates. The other 8 immediately filed the same day. And then the next day, there was a effort by county chairs to send a similar letter asking our low polling candidates to withdraw. I did not sign that letter because I felt that letter was about 2 months late. If we were going to do something like that, it should have been done much earlier rather than the final hours of the filing period. So, but that is the situation. And I have also shared with you the poll that our state party chair authorized. The results came in yesterday, and to nobody's surprise, the numbers are about the same as they have been for the last few months. So I will leave it to all of you to decide whether you're going to vote your conscience, regardless of the standing of your preferred candidate, or if you're going to vote for one of the front runners. It certainly is a bit of a situation we're in at the moment. Bonnie.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the party or anyone that has any ideas of any kind of plan around how to get a Democrat in the general election. But anyway, just kind of throwing that out there. Thanks.
I mean, I think at this point it's the same as it has been. The gestures of writing letters and dropping quotes to the press and similar actions, encouraging people to act for the good of the party.
Now, what happens if they're on the ballot but they drop out? How would that happen?
As we have seen in other elections, if you're on the ballot, your votes are counted.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I understand that. I bet are the ballots already printed, in other words?
Yeah, it's in California law, it is now too late for any of them to withdraw.
Okay, thanks.
And we're not like other states where you can do a switch in the final 5 minutes of the filing period. Montana. So we are stuck with, I believe the official count is 62 candidates on the ballot for governor. Including some people who I think might not be human, but we shall see. So again, over the next 6 weeks before ballots are mailed out, search your conscience, talk to your favorite candidate, see if there's a candidate that you can get behind, or if there's a candidate you want to vehemently oppose, and act accordingly. I know that our siblings in labor did a 4-way endorsement, which some of us would say might not have helped matters much, but I understand the rationale that the Labor Fed needed to make a positive endorsement so that they could do some negative spending against one of the candidates. So there was a rationale to their actions. I will just leave it at that. Northern Vice Chair, do you have anything to report?
Good evening, members. No, I don't have anything to report. My camera is not working. I got my lipstick on and earrings, and the camera don't work. But I just want to go back to the Treasury report. Karen, if there's anything I can do to close out that 2025 crab feed, 26 crab feed. You said there's some open-end
Yes,
plans.
yes, we have. Yes,
We could
yes,
talk
definitely.
offline, but let me know. Okay, that's all I have, Don. Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Just looking quickly here. Don't see our Southern Vice Chair with us this evening. Secretary, do you have anything to report other than the minutes?
No.
Okay. Information Officer, anything to report this month?
The only thing I was going to discuss is the Google Workspace payment, but I see that in the business section of the agenda.
Okay. And then parliamentarian, anything to report?
Nope.
Okay.
This could be a short meeting.
Hey, we aim to please.
Let's go for the gold.
Next up is our Communications Committee report.
Yeah. So we're going to ramp up now that the election's coming up, and our next meeting is going to be on April 6th. That's a Monday. We always meet the first Monday of the month. Does anyone have a problem with meeting on, my calendar called it Easter Monday? I have no idea what Easter Monday is, but that doesn't mean anything to me. So I think we should meet. If not, it'll have to wait till the next month, because otherwise we clash with all of the city council meetings or club meetings.
Go for it.
Yeah, okay, so I'll send that out. So there's a lot of stuff for us to talk about. I really encourage people from all the clubs to come to this because we need to set priorities for the election and for some of the programs that we've been talking about. It's time to start them. But I think what's happening right now that's most important is with the website, and Amber is going to be talking about that. So I'm going to hand this off to Amber, just saying I'll be sending out an email and about the upcoming meeting.
Okay. Amber, did you have anything you wanted to follow up at this time on that?
I think I think we're going to discuss in the business portion the scale to win, and that's sort of the update. We'll be using the okay. I guess I do have an update. So we with the No Kings protest and a lot of the dissatisfaction with Trump and some of the things happening on the federal level, we have had a number of people come to our website to sign up who want to volunteer. And so we will be sending emails out regularly to everyone who has signed up to let them know what we have going on. At the conclusion of this meeting, once we vote on whether or not we're going to endorse Superintendent Nikki Parr, we'll send out an email letting them know who we've endorsed for the primary. And so we're going to be sort of getting and also giving them opportunities to volunteer for our endorsed candidates. And then later on, we'll talk about some other things that we're going to be doing during the primary season. So we're trying to see what things people really respond to, so that we can really gear up for the general election when we have a lot of people on the ballot. So we really want to utilize some of the non-elected, non-club member Democrats who are in the county, who are energized and who want to do something. They just don't know what to do. So we would like to direct them in in how they can be helpful in Solano County to make Solano County blue.
Awesome. I look forward to our discussion tonight and in the future on those tools. At the risk of belaboring the obvious, I do want to encourage all of our people here tonight, all of our Central Committee members, all of our Democratic clubs, and every other Democratic activist you want to cross to support our endorsed candidates. Of course, that's Mike Silva and Wanda Williams for the Board of Supervisors, and assuming the vote goes positively for Dr. Parr as well in those three races, and then use this as a good dress rehearsal for November. We'll have a lot going on. Okay. Legislation Committee, Bonnie.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So in the interest of keeping the agenda short, I have, we met a week ago. We came up with, I would call it TNTC in medicine, which means too numerous to count, number of bills. So, and I have been remiss in being able to pull all of them together in one nice, clean document. So I'm going to propose that if there's anything really timely, we can communicate in the interim. But I think that for the April meeting, and that will, we won't hit the policy committees, but we will have time to hit the appropriations committee. And that way we'll cut down on some of those bills. There may be, there is one bill that might need a lot of support that we could give in the interim. And if folks are agreeable, if there's a handful of bills that we can do via email to ask for folks to, absent dissent, would they be willing to endorse those bills? There's one SB 954, which is to clean up this exemption from the California Environmental Quality Act that happened during the budget process back in June, that essentially carved out something called advanced manufacturing from CEQA review. CEQA is a law that we've had on the books for over 50 years. And that's what, when people talk about California is so environmentally friendly. That's what they're talking about. But basically, this bill just took that whole thing out, and we're talking about strip mining, you know, fertilizer production. I mean, all kinds of industries that heavily pollute. And basically, CEQA, you know, would make sure that there was environmental review to make sure communities were safe, people were safe. It didn't stop development. It just made sure that the development didn't pollute. And right now, you know, you can build you can do it right up to a fence line now with that exemption that happened during the budget process. So again, the Senate is working diligently on putting a bill together to fix that. So just to keep that in mind, a really important bill, but it's right now it's still a spot bill. We actually did a press conference this morning on the bill with the senators and the assembly member who is our co-sponsors of that bill. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, so I'll leave it there. If there are any questions, let me know. And this is just to keep Don from having to overwork his hand in writing all those letters. But we'll see if we can whittle it down a little bit.
Kathy, is your hands up?
Yeah, Bonnie, did you say there might be one bill that we might want to vote on tonight?
No, because that is
Okay.
not, unless there's one that you think is dire to do now.
No, I
No,
don't.
I'm just saying that bill, or there might be one or two other ones that
Okay.
you know, come through that we say, oh my gosh, it really needs help. Let's get or particularly with our own elected people, with Assemblymember Wilson or with Senator Cabalden, to help them kind of go in the direction that we would like to see them go. But you know, 954 SB 954 is really extremely important, and it's had some trouble. The legislature voted with the promise that it would be cleaned up, and it never happened during the last year's session. So again, it's that, but we will, if that's okay, we'll just address things as they come up
Okay.
before the April meeting.
Yeah, I would like to suggest that if there are bills that you find to be of particular importance, it certainly would be good to circulate those things so that we as individuals can act on them.
Great.
And then we can come back and vote in April to take for the Central Committee to take a position. I would add to that AB 1984,
Yes.
the attack on Citizens.
Yeah.
The
United.
correction to Citizens United.
Yes.
That Assemblymember Rogers is running. I think that's another key bill that I suspect he's going to need a lot of grassroots support to push over the line. So
And
again,
yeah, and if there are other bills that folks identify that they think are really important, reach out to me. So Dawn, that's on my list too as an important one, as well as this SB 954. There might be another, like I said, a handful that we need to really act on acutely, but I think most can wait till April to see which ones kind of make it through.
yeah. So again,
Yeah.
if you know of those important bills that you think need to push, please communicate them to Bonnie, and then she will forward out an action email, and then we will, so that you as individuals can act, and then we as a Central Committee will take them up again in April. So thank you, Bonnie, and everyone on your committee for the work that you do. Okay, next we have the awards event planning. For Neil, do you know, have we made any progress on this?
No, I haven't gotten in touch with Carrie. So no, the answer is no.
Okay. So I'll just, hopefully we can get something flowing before other schedules overtake us, because I know that, believe it or not, the calendar is filling up quickly for time for events and planning those things. So we will hopefully circle back to that in April as well. Next item on the agenda, texting program authorization. This is partly what Amber alluded to, Scale to Win. I'm sure many of you are aware of uh, the rise of texting programs to reach out to voters, um, primarily for GOTV and for campaign purposes, but it's also would be convenient for us as a central committee for when we get a dump of potential volunteers from the state party of, you know, several hundred names that probably none of us have the time to actually call one-on-one. It might be good to text them and start the process. It's a oversimplifying it slightly, but there's largely a two-step process. One, we need to get what they call a token. There's costs $95 to apply for, and it's essentially a 10-digit code. Essentially, you know, looks like a phone number that we can use to text out to people and communicate with, and then from that we sign up with the texting program of our choice. I know that there's Scale to Win is a standalone. Both PDI and Vote Builder offer programs built into their systems as well, so we have options there. But we wanted to get the process underway about getting authorization so that the Central Committee has the capacity to do texting, uh, should we so choose and should our budget allow it. So I did ask for us to start that, looking into that. Amber, I see your hands up.
Yeah, another thing that we discussed, which I think would be more relevant for the general election, is sending out texts on behalf of our endorsed candidates. So let's say you have a candidate who has a smaller campaign, who maybe either can't afford or doesn't have the manpower to monitor those texts. We could send a text out of our endorsement or in support of that candidate. The way these programs work, if we go with Scale to Win, the way Scale to Win works is you only pay when you send something out. So that it would be billed to us, but then we could forward that cost on to the endorsed candidate, and it would be a lot cheaper because they wouldn't have to go through the campaign verified, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and I think we did that a few cycles ago for at least one of our candidates. We had a similar setup, but I don't know. But that particular authorization isn't valid, so we wanted to do it again. And so I wanted to get feedback from the membership and ideally approval for us to proceed and get that token paid for and start the process of setting up a texting account for us for when we, if and when we choose to use it.
I make a motion to get the token and move forward with the program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on it? Further discussion? I'm not seeing any hands, so do we have a poll ready for that question? If you're eligible to vote, please vote early and often. Give it another 5 seconds. All right, and motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Next item is, and before we move on, I'll just ask Amber and Karen to get together and work out the details and move us forward on that. So appreciation, everyone, for that.
Will
The
do.
next item, Google Workspace expenditure. Amber, I think this is you again.
Yes, it's my night tonight. Okay, the the Google Workspace accounts. This allows us to have email addresses for all of the for everyone on the executive board. It allows us to use Google Drive and all of the Google applications, and they have increased their price this year. The price is $84 per account. And so that equals $672 for the year. And it's cheaper to prepay for an annual subscription rather than a monthly subscription. And so I'm asking for everyone to vote to approve that expenditure for the 2026 through 2027 year.
This is Kathy, so moved.
This is Gian, second.
All right. Any discussion on this? I think we've all found the value of having that organized workspace. Paula.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Amber, if you could, I'll vote in favor of this, obviously, but I don't understand Google Docs at all. Is there any chance you could like give a little class on Zoom about how to use it?
Sure. Yeah. This conversation sounds familiar, and I feel like there was someone else who had actually volunteered many months ago to do something like this, but maybe I'm confusing this meeting with North Northern Democratic Club. But
I
yes,
think someone from the Southern Dems did volunteer, but I don't,
okay,
he had to change the date, and I don't know how many people actually went to it.
Yeah.
got it.
I know at least one was scheduled and then postponed, and at least I never got the
It might have been a Young
rescheduled date.
Dems. It might have been a Young
Young
Dems.
Dems, yeah.
Karen, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I too had a question about that because the Google Docs is something that I also need a little update on. And then Amber, how much did you say the bill was going to be?
It'll
You
be
said 600
$672.
and
Yeah, it's $84.
672?
Yeah, $84 per user. There's 8 users.
I'm sorry, say it again, babe. I didn't hear.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it's $84 per user, and there are 8 users. And so the total is $672.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So we have options of trainers who are offering in addition to the YouTube video that Christina has dropped in the chat. So hopefully between those of us who are still stumbling around can find opportunities, and we will try to set that up and get that available to people. Depending on who the trainer is and the schedule, we'll send out an email to the entire central committee. So even if you're not on our things, if you're using it or having used to it.
Monday.com's AI blocks are a total game changer.
Excuse me if I find that hard.
That's right.
So we'll do that. So with that said, unless there's further discussion, let's go ahead and launch the poll. Okay, looks like everyone who going to vote has voted, so we have approval. Thank you all. Moving on to announcements. Does anyone have any announcements to make? Please raise your hand.
John Cunliffe, I haven't figured out how to raise my hand.
Okay.
So if okay, I'll go ahead. This is, first thing, this is my last meeting as a member of the committee. We've had a bit of a leadership change in Rio Vista, and Kevin McNamara, who is our acting chair, will be sitting in as of next month. This will free me up to be able to participate in the legislative committee. If there's still an opportunity to do that, understanding they've already had their initial meeting. The other announcements I wanted to share, we had John Garamendi come and speak to our membership late in February. And then just last week, we had Senator Chris Cobbledon come and also meet with our membership. Took a slightly different approach in terms of the layout of the room. He wanted to meet in small groups. So we set things up as conversation circles, for the lack of a better term. And he was, after a brief kind of introductory address to the assembled members, he was able to move around between those conversation circles, and that seemed to work out pretty well. So that's what we've got from Rio Vista.
Thank you. Lynette, I see your hands up.
And you're muted.
Okay, did we get the results of the endorsement?
Voting is open until 8:30.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then we'll get a notice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, I would be surprised if the results are a surprise, but drop the code in again. I see in Glenn, your hands up.
Yeah, thanks, Don. Good evening, everyone. Glenn Leball with Solano Democratic Workers Alliance, and of course, Napa Solano Central Labor Council by day. Just wanted to drop a reminder in the chat that our upcoming Spring Salute is coming up on Friday evening, April 17th. Our big annual awards dinner will be once again hosted in American Canyon, same venue as last year. A very fun occasion to come together and celebrate community members, leaders, workers, allies that have come together to help champion the issues of working people across Solano and Napa counties. It's not written in the announcement, but this will also be our first year with the DJ and a dance floor. So clearly part of a rising trend here, along with our great Northern Solano Dems. Thank you, everyone.
I will just comment, looking at the flyer, I want someone to go back to the days of a $25 ticket for an event. So somebody do a hot dog feed somewhere.
We can do that for our awards celebration.
Christina.
I think the notice already went out, but we are hosting, me and other members of the LGBTQ community are hosting a fundraiser on April 12th at my house in Benicia. I think most of you guys have been to my house in Benicia, from 12 to 2 for the benefit of Wanda and Mike for Solano Board of Supervisors. And it's only 2 hours, and the goal is to raise money and sign up volunteers. So, but if you've been to my house, there's going to be snacks. So, I would love for folks to join us.
What date was that again, Kristen?
April 12th, from 12 to 2 p.m. If you need information, feel free to email me or message me. I think most people have my contact information, but and we've also posted it all over the place. But yeah, I'd love for you to join us. I mean, I know everybody here already knows how important this election is, but it's incredibly important for those of us who are part of the LGBTQ community, especially given who they're running against. So please, please, please consider joining us. And if you don't join us, donate to them anyway.
Thank you. Not seeing any other hands up. I do want to just call attention to the message that Anna dropped in chat at the beginning of the meeting that today is International Transatlantic Slave Trade Remembrance Day. Unlike our friends in the other party, when we remember history, we remember all of it. Acknowledge the bad parts as well as the good. I forgot to mention earlier, I also attended the memorial service for former Councilman Jack Batson last weekend. Was gratified to see the big turnout from many fellow Democrats and elected officials and labor leaders who worked with Jack over the years. Very good attendance there. And I also noticed those who weren't there, including current mayor Fairfield, but that's another story. With your indulgence, unless there's any other announcements or business, I'd like to adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of the American servicemen and all of the people in the Middle East being affected by this war of choice that Number 47 has launched. We are all being affected by this particular brand of idiocy, but especially those who are being killed and wounded as a result of this attempt to distract from the Epstein files. So we can adjourn. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn in memory of those being affected by this war.
So moved. Paula.
Second. I second that move.
All right. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
And again, we will, as soon as the votes are, voting period is closed and we've had a chance to verify the ballots, we will send out that notice. And thank you, everyone. We'll give you back the rest of your evening.
Cool.
Thank you.
I think this is
Thank
a
you.
record,
night.
Dawn.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.